historically, manufacturers had an opportunity to influence their communities because they were directly involved in them. During Schuylkill County, you said finding 27 workers in Schuylkill County is going to be a major challenge. It might not, we talked that, maybe I don't know, we talked that manufacturers in urban parts of Allentown don't have as much difficulty finding workers because they're next to the workers. Do you guys, can you imagine a world in which you, rather than trying to bring workers to you or trying to educate workers on how cool manufacturing is, if you can be in their environment, you can be around them, you can have a greater influence on them?
I know a company called Fessler USA that actually still makes clothes. They're up in the Schuylkill County. And I know about 3-4 years ago, they were having a hard time finding cut and sew, and they moved down in the middle of Reading, just so they could have, and they started a section or a division right there in Reading, and hired, I think, 30, 40, 50 people. Now the recession caught it, and they had to change, but I know there's a concept of doing that.
They have, you mentioned people who don't want to work. There's nothing but people who want to work in cities. There's more people there. And, obviously there's a ton of people who may not want to work. I talked to somebody today who said they had problems with people who come to work 4 days, or come to work long enough to go back out and collect unemployment. But there's also a huge population of people that are committed. They come from a huge, diverse array of backgrounds. You also mentioned people hiring people who are developmentally disabled. There's people who are just coming out of correctional institutions. There's people who are, for instance, the Allentown Rescue Mission, who are trying to get their lives back together and recover, from being homeless. One of the difficulties that I think you face with hiring workers is that when you are sort of out in the middle of an industrial park or disconnected from transit routes or disconnected from places that people can walk to, hiring people who are lower income may not have a way to get to your plan.
Yeah, I think it's an excellent point. And obviously the focus of today is really on the labor side, and that's where our focus of discussion is. But manufacturing is a very unique business from the standpoint of we're very capital intensive, we're very space intensive, and we're very logistics intensive, all of which don't favor a downtown type of environment. So yes, I think you make an absolutely valid point, and I think the Fessler example is a perfect example of, okay, we may need this level of individual. It's not going to be quite as labor intensive, or it's not going to be quite as space intensive perhaps, and have modules there that can support some larger facilities out in the rural area. So I think it's an absolutely excellent point relative specifically to labor. When you look at the whole picture, it doesn't all add up to a complete piece. And I'll just add one other piece on the, we've worked with the OVR program as well, hiring disabled individuals, and we've had nothing but incredible success with all of the individuals we got through that program. So I just thought I'd mention that.
I've seen it work. You've probably all
the next 10 minutes, we're going to have a breakout sessions, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about. So I'd like to just, I have one more question I wanted to get to the panel, and then we'll try a couple after that, okay? Can I?
Yeah, I have a question. I've done some workforce readiness training here in the States and abroad. It's like this issue about soft skills is not moving to America. We got a lot. But one of the things that struck me when looking at the school system abroad and in Europe is that you're much more likely to see vocational educational training schools there. That was one of the first things that stood out. Now, I don't have necessarily have an assessment whether it's better or worse or anything, but I wanted to know if folks on the panel have thoughts on that, and is that something that direction of America should think about going down, going back to Mr. Rocco's statement about the 70s and transformations?
I mean, a month ago I was in Europe for 2 weeks, and I spent a lot of time in Germany specifically, and it's amazing how when you say you're a manufacturer over there, how it really garners a lot of attention, and not just with other manufacturers or other business people, but the guy you're sitting next to at the pub, you know, really engages you and say, well, I really am interested in manufacturing, and I think it's because of their educational system and the fact that they do have these very highly technical schools that have a lot of prestige. That it's just as prestigious to go to a school like that over there as it would be to go to a equivalent of an Ivy League school or whatever here. I don't know what the equivalent is. So I certainly think that that's a big piece of it. It's just how do we get to that point? I think, you know, certainly LCTI, you know, I think they are the jewel that I think needs to be emulated going forward of how you accomplish that. They've done more than I've ever seen. We just sent people through training, and this is where it really becomes key. We had 2 individuals who have, you know, I was saying earlier, we have machinists, welders, fabricators, powder coaters. We took 2 welders and put them through a CNC training program, so we had good cross-training. One scored a 0 on his pre-test, and the other one scored a 35. The 35 got 100 on his post-test after, I think, 6 weeks. Is Jan still here? No, 6 weeks? Was that all it was? All right. You know, on Fridays and Saturdays, got 100. I mean, this is something that was a skill test that actually people that were in machining for 10 years with us did not get that. And then you had, you know, the guy that got a 0 went all the way up to 97. You know, I mean, this is incredible that we can actually convert people that quickly. And I think that the key with LCTI, that is something all educational facilities need to look at, is modeling it to the company's specific needs, rather than just saying, well, this is the program we have. Do you like it or don't you? And I think, you know, that's really a good piece for education, specifically to manufacturing, is being able to tie it specifically to what this company's needs are. You know, we are very diverse up here, and we have completely different needs. And I know B. Braun's used LCTI aggressively as well. And yeah,
You guys do some internal training, right? So you're basically, they're kind of taking it that what you're saying is that they're internally saying we're going to get people with the aptitude capacities, and then we're going to train them up, which I know a lot of companies are doing that right now.
Yeah, I mean, we're a German company, so I'm very familiar with, in Germany, you have 2 tracks, and it's, you know, are you going to go on and work in manufacturing in a skilled trade, or are you going to go in and to a university level? And both are very prestigious. They identify those kids very early on, and track them that way and train them up that way. So, you know, the LCTI is getting to 10-year-olds instead of 14, 15-year-olds. But from the standpoint of, you know, what we need to be doing, it's really, I think, those VOTEC schools, and LCTI is probably one of the best VOTEC schools in the entire country. And I'll give you a little story. We put in place about 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago, skill-based pay, where we're paying our hourly employees based on their competencies, based on the skills. So we tested all of them, and some of them came out 0 or whatever, and they're doing the job today, and you kind of scratch your head. And we have started to replicate that program with all the training that we're doing in California. California today, I guess because of budgets or whatever, doesn't really have an LCTI equivalent where we had our facility, so the folks from LCTI actually replicated the program and brought it to California. So, but I would tell all of you guys as manufacturers and the audience as well, I would encourage you, large or small, get your workforce trained. It's certainly worthwhile, worth the investment, and I think LCTI is probably the way to go.
Anybody else? We're going to have to count people. We're ran out of time a while ago. Anybody else? Okay, I think you're going to introduce what we're going to do next, but thank the panel very much. Appreciate it.